What's going on, guys? I was Buffalo Bob, and hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. It is Friday, October 20th, and we are just about 11 days removed from the 2023 NFL trade deadline. And there's been a few moves here and there. You know, McCole Hardman went to the Jets, Chase Claypool went to the Miami Dolphins, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I think a lot of the bigger names will come later throughout the week, but we don't even know what's going to happen at this point. So there's been a lot of rumors lately about Davante Adams. And yesterday, as of Thursday the 19th, there was a lot of speculation about the possible future of Davante Adams out of Las Vegas, because the Raiders are a shit show without Derek Carr as to why Davante Adams went there in the first place. And 1 year after the arrival of Davante Adams, it has been nothing but a clustered shit show. And the relationship with Davante Adams and the Raiders, it has no end in sight. And on top of all that, there's no going back into this. So Davante Adams has a pretty massive contract, but it can be negotiated. And in terms of betting odds, like bettingonline.com, etc., of all the teams that have the best odds to win the Davante Adams sweepstakes is the Buffalo Bills. And the Buffalo Bills, I think, have a 1 in 4 chance to get Davante Adams at the trade deadline on Halloween. So we wanted to sit here and talk about this and see what would be the best hypothetical proposal that you could give if you're Brandon Beane and you want to go all in your receiving core. So I think it's fair to bring up this argument because everybody, and I'm mostly sure that everybody did, saw that Bills game against the Giants on Sunday Night Football last week, and it was absolutely heinous. It was ugly as shit. And we all saw the stat sheets that Stephon Diggs was targeted 15 times throughout that game, and everybody else was targeted between the range of once, twice, or 3 times. It's unacceptable. So they completely abandoned the run in the first half, and then they go back in the second, and then they're just consistently throwing the ball to Diggs. You can't do that, and that's a while on top of that being double-teamed. So you can't just always throw it to Stephon Diggs. That's not a healthy recipe for success. So there's been a lot of speculation about Davante Adams wanting out of Las Vegas, and I don't blame the guy. The Raiders have no direction. Josh McDaniels is still the coach, and all of the players that they pretty much had, aside from Max Crosby, that went there in the first place, are pretty much gone. So the Raiders have nothing left. So the best player they have, Davante Adams, is likely demanding a trade, and there's a 50-50 chance that he could be traded on Halloween. So let's see, what could the Bills possibly give up for him? Well, in any deal Davante Adams gets dealt to, the Raiders would have to eat around $10 million of that dead cap just from relieving them of their cap. So Adams would be likely going to Buffalo in this situation, but what would the Bills possibly give up? In my estimate guess, if you're going all in, I suggest giving up a 2024 second, a 2025 third, and Gabe Davis. Why Gabe Davis, you ask? Simple. Gabe Davis is on an expiring contract, and he's a free agent after this year. So maybe get some sort of value for him, and if you flip him to the Raiders, he can end up signing an extension if he produces at a solid rate. Because Gabriel Davis is an okay number 2 wide receiver. He's not an established sure thing like Davante Adams. But if Davante Adams were to come to Buffalo, it would be very hard to stop everybody else. Because you have Stephon Diggs and Davante Adams on the other end. Those are 2 solid wide receivers that the Bills would have, and they'd be throwing the ball as well. You know, you have Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox, and then you have James Cook in the backfield. Their offense would be unstoppable if they go out and get Davante Adams. Plus, I think it's safe to say that Davante Adams has had a stellar career in Green Bay, wanted to leave because of Aaron Rodgers, and then goes to the Raiders intentionally to play with Derek Carr. He gets cut, and then the relationship is just broken at this point in Las Vegas. So Adams wants to be traded, and I don't blame the guy. But as far as Gabe Davis goes, like I said, he's cheaper. He's on the last year of his contract, and the Bills traded for a load of draft picks. They have compensations, so they can at least work with what they have, and they can try to somehow manage the money to make this work. Because, again, it's not the issue of the money. It's what the Raiders could potentially be asking for. Hell, I would even say, fuck it. go and give up a first-round pick in this coming draft because the Bills are trying to go all in. They want to win the Super Bowl, and I can already hear it in the comments section. They're going to say, oh, but the offense is not great. It's not Super Bowl material. Well, you got to do something because if you don't, they're not going to win shit, and that's just straight truth. But there was an option A and there was an option B. Option A was DeAndre Hopkins, and then that didn't work out. They tried to get OBJ. They tried to get DeAndre Hopkins. Neither one of them have panned out. So, they're gone. Davante Adams, that's option C. But would it be the same thing? Because what if Davante Adams says, Buffalo would be nice, but I want to see if we can make it work. Because I think the runner-up after the Bills is the Detroit Lions. If I saw that in the betting odds as well. It was the Lions and someone else. I forget who it is. But the Bills would be a really nice team for Davante Adams. And I think most people would welcome it, honestly, if they were able to get him. He's one of the best receivers in the game, and it would be hard not to pass up on him. I mean, yeah, D-Hop, okay. OBJ, okay. But then what do you do after if you don't get Davante Adams? Do you go to Denver and you talk about Courtland Sutton? Do you go to the Broncos again about Jerry Jeudy? Do you go to the Panthers and talk about Terrace Marshall Jr.? What do you do? Well, there's plenty of options. I mean, I know that if the Bills are going to try to go all in, now's the time to do it. Go get Davante Adams. Because I think it's going to be worth it in the end. If they are willing to give up a ransom, and I don't think that's going to be the issue. The issue, like I said before, is going to be about what the Raiders exactly would want for him. Because he's in his 30s, so there's no chance in hell that, the guy is going to be as good as he was. It's just plain and simple. So, I think with that being said, that's all I have for today. And let me know in the comment section down below. Do you want Davante Adams? Do you not want Davante Adams? It's pretty straightforward. I mean, I'll let you be the judge. Let's just put it that way. So with that being said, hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you after Halloween for Cincinnati, and go Bills.